All right, all right, all right. There we go. We getting a signal. We getting a signal. I think we're receiving a signal. What up? What up? It is 6:30. It is February 14th. It is Valentine's Day. Whatever your mom, your girlfriend, your wife says, they say don't give me flowers, make sure to get flowers. Anyway, my name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. Welcome to the 6:30 Club. Hope my dogs around the world are feeling well prepared to enter this week as we switched gears last week with the hot CPI. We had levels to reduce risk, get short. So we're coming in with red arrows around the money, making money prepared. Let me say hello to some of my dogs around the world. Let's see if I can do this. I'm in a new setup in my office, by the way. You don't see my pictures behind me. There we go. Let's see. Let's see if I can say hello to some of my dogs. Here we go. Hold on, hold on. All right. Let's take this off. We got Pixel in the house. Good morning from Holland, New Jersey. What up, Andrew? How you feeling? We got It's in the house. Where are you, It's? It's 6:31. We got my friends from the Ukraine. Hopefully you're feeling well, getting ready to go. Getting your game face on just in case we get a little bit more escalation. We got Pisco. That's where I went to Safeway Camp, Surprise Lake Camp. We got Panama in the house. Love to see it. Love to see it. We got Rise and Grind. Another week. You better rise and grind this week. This is going to be a lot of action, lots of levels to know, lots of ways to be prepared ahead of time. That's how I try and prepare you guys ahead of time so you can execute with confidence. We got Larson on in the house. There we go. We got Jason D from Princeton. Okay, I'd love to see you. What up, buddy? Flemington's in the house. We got Pittsburgh in the house. Who else we got? Who else we got? We got Moscow in the house. Listen, guys, what are you doing? More calls like PKKT. Listen, I'll throw some bones in your dog house, but you got to learn how to go out digging. You know, I'm not always going to be there to help you find some food. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we got Alexa over here. Oh, I was not talking to you. What up, Short Hills? Oh, you got JB in the house from Short Hills. That's my hometown. Woo. Yeah, Eminem was good last night. You know what? You know how the world is crazy? First of all, I'm a creature of the 90s, okay? I used to MC bar mitzvahs back in the day, so I love Snoop Dogg, I love Mary J. Blige, I love friggin' Dr. Dre. But I was like, this is a B halftime show. And people called me a racist. I'm like, in school you have an A, it's like a good grade, a B, a C, a D. I meant like a B, like not a really great halftime show. Oh my God, this friggin' world's on its toast. Let's go. Anyway, who's that? What up, Casemiro? How you doing? What up, Easy? All right, let me lower this a little bit. But anyway, you got to be careful what you're saying. You're a white male. Listen, control what you can control, but in this world that we live in, you got to be careful what you say. I didn't mean anything by it, and I got like, holy cow. So, all right, I'm gonna piss people off right now too. Alexa off. All right, guys. So, if you guys remember last week, I think the most meaningful 6:30 Club we had is when I tried to prepare you guys for the CPI on Thursday. The market was rallying into resistance. The oscillator was plus 60, and I was like, hey guys, the street is basically getting in front of what they think is going to be a less than feared CPI, and if the CPI comes in, in line or greater than expected, you better push that sell button. I also tried to forecast and pretty much think ahead of a right shoulder being built weekly head and shoulders pattern in the SPYs and the Qs, which everyone's giving me a hard time because at that moment it felt as if everyone's like, Red Dog, you keep talking about this head and shoulders top pattern with this right shoulder, and some guys were a little early being short or got out of some risk a little early and they felt bad about themselves. And all of a sudden on Friday, as I'm driving out to Maryland to go to a basketball tournament, like, Red Dog, you've really been doing this for 20 years. How did you see that all happening? I'm like, well, I could see patterns form, but really what's most important is executing when the candles are put in place and you get a little bit more visibility in the formation. So anyway, if you look right here, you guys see the chart. This is the chart of the Qs. Okay, so if you do remember, heading right into this resistance spot was when we were into the CPI. Okay, CPI came out. You had a few seconds to to really react. I know I got short the SPYs. I actually was I had like 15 positions heading into Thursday, and I was a little extra exposed. And when the CPI came out, I was able to put on a little extra SPY short. And then if you remember, the market gave us probably a good 45 minutes to buy versus 5-minute lows and trade our way out of positions. And I went from like 15 positions to like 6 really fast. And I went from down a lot of money to up money. And then all of a sudden, when the market rolled back over, I'm like, all right, now I better put on a SPY put spread, for this week, and a Qs put spread that paid me really nicely on Friday. So anyway, I also, reduced risk. And how could you have done it? Well, remember this 362, that was an important pivot. Once you went below that, that kind of confirmed the active bears taking the ball back. And then when we took out 353 on Friday, look at that candle. So we had a lower wedge that wound up resolving to the downside. And now what? If you look here, let's see what are the futures doing. I'll put this over here. We'll go, let's put up CNBC for a second here. You have, the Dow futures are down 224, S&P futures are down 33, so we're getting some downside follow through. Some guys are like, hey, Red Dog, why are we down? The narrative is inflation. The narrative is the Fed reducing accommodation around the world, and then also a little extra grease in the wheels with the Ukraine-Russia escalation. So anyway, when you look at Europe, I always wake up before I go in my sauna and I do my 500 reps, which I forgot to take my jacket off so we can get down to some business, which is what we do here at the 630 Club. We get prepared and we take care of business. And anyway, the DAX is down 3% and the FTSE 2%, so kind of playing some downside catch up to our weakness from last week. So let's take this back over here. So the question is, okay, for today, this is how we're going to do it. I might be buying, yes, I might be buying day 1, 2, 3 for a trade in the hole. I'm in the Qs and the SPYs and maybe some of my favorite FANG names that I'm not long now, because why would I be long them when they're rolling over and they're showing technical weakness? So anyway, I think that the Qs might be a buy just tactically versus a 5-15-minute low. SPYs might be a buy tactically versus a 5-15-minute low. What does that mean? It means like just say the Qs put a low in the first 5 minutes. You could be long versus that for a trade. Yes, for a trade. If you're not caught in the mix of this, you can embrace volatility and make money. So what else could happen? This is 345.80. So if the Qs want to put in a little bit of a low and then reclaim 345.80, maybe you get a little bit of some kind of tactical bounce. Okay, so that's how I'm looking. Here's supported 340. This is 34.80. This was the breakdown. Okay, this right now, which was a good spot to get short on Friday, will now probably be resistance if it could see it. You go to the SPYs. Okay, here are the SPYs, very similar. Okay, if you remember, I was drawing this head and shoulders top pattern, and here's a little bit of a double top at 458, broke 447, broke this spot. So that you had time, guys. You had time to execute. You had time to switch gears fast, and no one should have been overly bullish anyway. If you watched that Seeking Alpha interview I did, I pretty much explained how we were going to bounce back into the right shoulder, roll over, and some guys made a lot of money short. Some guys made a lot of money, buying options or selling calls, like I did both of those. And some just said, hey, you know what, I'm not good at being short. I'm just going to get out of the way because you know what, cash is a position, especially during times like this. We're only in like the 6th week of this inflation cycle, whereas if you remember, I told you guys about 2018, the taper tantrum where the S&P fell 20% and the NASDAQ fell about 24%. So why would 10% off the highs be the bottom of this situation? Anyway, so we'll see what happens here. Does 438.94 get reclaimed? If it does, maybe it relieves a little bit of pressure this morning. So for me, I would not, if I were you, would not be pressing shorts on this open. You should have got short on Thursday or Friday. You should be coming in and booking some of those and maybe thinking tactically how to get positioned just for a trade this morning. If you want to look, everyone's like, well, Red Dog, how did you know the head and shoulders pattern on the weekly? I'm like, well, I'm just using past patterns. Okay, remember this? This was your taper tantrum. This was 2018 when the Fed had to reduce accommodation. That was 2018 when they had to reduce the pace of purchase also and also raise rates. And this was when the S&P fell 20% in 3 months. So if you look here, I was just trying to say, hey guys, think about what's happening in the world right now and look at the size of this move that we've had because of the pandemic. We broke the accelerated trend. We broke the intermediate trend, and all we did is retest it. So I'm like, if we're going to build a right shoulder, we're going to come up and fail right there. So now what? You know, you could basically draw this as your neckline going sideways, right? And necklines don't take a week to build. This left shoulder took a while, so now this could happen for a little bit here. And then we don't even, you know, you don't have to break the neckline. You just know where it is. And if it were to break, then all of a sudden there's 400. Okay, so at this point, it was much better to be, on this candle, I'm like, we're going to bounce into there and then we're going to sell down. Anyway, whatever. That was then, this is now. What up, Edison? How you doing? Do I think more that Russia is going to invade? I don't know. You got to listen up for headlines, because if all of a sudden a diplomatic solution happens, you're going to probably see a short squeeze. So anyway, let's go back to the daily chart. So what are some other things that the dog is looking at this week, you know, for clues? All right, well, obviously, I'm going to look at the names that I trade. And if you remember last week, we were talking, everyone's like, what do you think about Tesla? I'm like, well, Tesla didn't lead the market higher. So when Tesla doesn't lead the market higher, it typically tells you it's going lower. And Tesla failed at 940. So if you look at Tesla now, okay, this is when it couldn't get above this 947. This is when it couldn't hold 920. So some guys got short, or some guys just got out of the way. So if you got short, congratulations, you made good money. If you got out of the way, you didn't lose money, and you could approach it with a plan. So it broke 920, broke 896, went as low as what? 850.70. So that is your new point of reference. This was then when you had a nice little reflex rally. So at this point, what's Tesla doing? Tesla's probably down like 8. It's down 16. Okay. So anyway, what's this low here? This low is 829. So you could probably draw this sideways now. So you have 850. This is 829. This is 792. It just came from 947 down into this area. So yes, even though it's tactically broken and not special, I will probably be looking to see if I could buy Tesla versus a 5-minute low to see if it goes from down 16 to maybe green for a trade. And then some might, hey, short that bounce and see if it goes lower. And if we're going to go down to the lows again in the S&P and the Qs, chances are, you know, Tesla might get back down to that spot. But, you know, from 947 down below 850, I would think there's some kind of opportunity here, you know, for a trade. And that's what it is for a trade. Bullard today, yeah, Bullard's going to come out and he's probably going to talk about, you know, half a basis point. By the way, cheers. This is a leftover iced coffee I had in the fridge because I was running a little late. Gold, finally. Remember I talked to you guys about putting on a gold call spread, the GLD. At first, it didn't look great, and then it finally triggered, and I did post a chart of 1 o'clock. I checked in before going to Maryland on Friday, and I posted a chart. I'm like, wow, my gold looks ready finally again. You know, and then all of a sudden I see, Jesus, wow, it really ignited. And gold finally gave you, you know, what gold is supposed to do during inflation times, during times when, you know, there's a little craziness out there in the world, like troops at the yin-yang on the Ukrainian border. So, you know, I have a big call spread on. I have a 174 by 177s, and chances are, you know, I don't see why the GLD, which just broke above this descending trend line here, let's go like this. I don't see why it can't get to 179-ish. If you look at the weekly chart, it looks even more like a really tight pattern just ready to go. I drew this a few weeks ago. You know, you had a breakout failure. Now it went through this 171, there's 174, there's 178, there's 183. So that was actually, you know, sometimes when I have like kind of a thesis and I don't know exactly when I think it's going to trigger, I put on a call spread. I go out like 2 months and I pay for a little bit of time. So if I'm not on my seat when it happens, I don't miss it. I think that's a good strategy if you have a thesis. And if I was in my seat, I could have probably bought the GLD besides just having the call spread. But anyway, that's that. I think the GLD is down 30 cents. Maybe it goes red to green. But overall, this is a nice macro pattern here in gold, where you would think finally the gold bugs could dance a little bit, you know. Anyway, so what else am I going to be looking to play? You know, maybe an oversold bounce, which we're not that oversold yet. You know, besides like a Tesla, I'll look at Apple. Apple stopped a bunch of guys out on Friday. Why did Apple stop a bunch of guys out? Because Apple failed up here. Apple was showing some relative strength. Apple was somewhere where it made some sense to hide some money in, but then all of a sudden when it didn't hold the 170 or 490, that is when I got out of Apple, because I'm super active and I could get out and get back in if I want to. Others got out when it broke 170, which was a good spot to get out also. If you didn't get out of 170, 490, now what? You know, maybe there's a chance that it gets an oversold bounce. into this area, like same thing as a Tesla. You wait for a divergence, maybe it puts a 5-minute low, and the SPYs and the Qs and the S&P continue lower, and Apple stops going lower for that 5-10 minutes. Then maybe you could buy it versus that level for some kind of tactical bounce, and maybe it reclaims this what is this, 168.04? I don't know why it says 167. So what I do is for the Alpha team and for Redler accents, I make sure that the proper pivots are there. This is 168.04. So, let's see what's Apple doing. I bet you Apple's probably down $1.80. Let's see. Apple is down 243. So the tech's getting hit a little harder than everything else. So it's good not to be in them. It's good to have switched gears. It's good to have paid attention to the red dog in the dog pound with you guys. Anyone feeling good coming in today? Let's see. Anyone like tactically short, or at least sitting in boatloads of cash because of last week's preparation? Anybody? I'm going to give you about 10 seconds. AFRM, did you see what happened with the pre-announcement? Midday, that was a short. You're short, okay, that's good. You're long oil, okay. You have some SQs from Friday, there you go. You're a little bit of both. You're in cash. Cash is a position. You're long lots of puts, there you go. And I'm a bad short. I'm long a put spread for the SPYs and for the Qs, and I sold premium last week, and I'm coming in with like 3 longs, leftover longs. One of them's not even really a long. All right, good. You're allowed. But that's a different time frame. It's all about your time frame. Listen, in my 401k with my wife, I'm putting monthly flows in. Long term, the bull market's going to win. In my blood on the street account long term, I haven't touched it yet. But if we break the lows in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I will be putting some of my wife's blood on the street account in, like I did during the pandemic. Remember, we were down 20%, and every 5% I put in another tier in. Made a lot of money there, but I'm waiting. I still think the S&P and tech overall, the Qs and the SPYs could make new lows, so I'm going to wait. If they don't, you know what? I'm putting my monthly flows in, and then actively for a living, when you're below the 821 day, if you read my ebook, you're not in portfolio approach. You're tactical. What does tactical mean? It means look for red dog reversals, look for buying verse levels, and look for H-cell setups like you had on Friday. Friday was the perfect H-cell setup. If you remember, Friday morning, the SPYs were down 2. They bounced up 2, rolled over, broke Thursday's lows, and a lot of people made money short using the H-cell setup. Okay, if you've taken the Redler Ultimate Access courses, you know what the red dog reversal long tactical setup is, and the H-cell setup to be short. Anyway, at 648, I think it's going to be an interesting week. I'm very excited. I like being able to come in, seeing a little bit of follow through. What's follow through? It means if you close in a direction, you get the same direction the following morning. So this way, at least if you get out of your longs on Thursday, Friday, you don't feel bad about yourself. You could try it lower, or if you go net short, you can make money short. Okay, same way last week. Remember, Tuesday we closed strong, and Wednesday we opened up. That was a nice day and a quarter trade. Listen, you can make day and a quarter trades and make a living. You don't need to have macro scenarios on. Maybe some of you guys are macro short. I know my girl Isabel, who was at the Redler Ultimate Access. She played the bounce back into the 355, and then she was positioning short for this via the levels and via the patterns. Congratulations. I'm going to give her a shout out to her. I know my boy Bobby, who is also there, who trades S&P futures. I'm sure he's in a nice short position as well. But anyway, buy Bitcoin, buy ADA. I'm not buying ADA. I think ADA is not the one to turn to in the next bull move. As far as crypto, since you just brought it up, I said last week into 45,000 Bitcoin, I went from being about 90% in crypto back to 50%. So I took off a bunch, considering a lot of altcoins went 30 to 100% in 2 weeks. So now I could buy a dip strategically. So this could be interesting if you look at Bitcoin, okay? If you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin might, okay, be forming inverse head and shoulders pattern. So now what's that? Well, here we got the cash, if you remember. This was awesome. Okay, a lot of people made a lot of money in this last bounce up because they were ready for it. So here is when we went to actively cash, right? The 821 they broke at 63.5, and Bitcoin went to 75% cash. I didn't buy one altcoin or anything this whole way down. It was below all the moving averages until right around here I started accumulating again. And it wasn't easy. I went to like pretty much all in my Coinbase Pro account into there, but you didn't even have to anticipate it. Here's your red dog reversal. Here at 39, it broke the descending trend line. That was your buy signal. Hit resistance. So now what? It'd be nice if this right shoulder builds, right? Here's your left shoulder head, right shoulder builds, and all of a sudden we continue. So into this move, I might nibble a little bit back, but there's Brandon. red pup. I'm not going to be in a rush. So if I'm anticipating the same way I was anticipating a head and shoulders top in the spies and the Qs, I'm trying to anticipate to see if we could have an inverted head and shoulders pattern here to continue to the upside. Just thinking and looking forward. You look forward a little bit, not too much, because then that gives you opinions. But sometimes if you've been doing this for 20 years like me, you can look into it and you can see patterns build in your head, kind of like, remember A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe? He was a little crazy. I guess I'm a little crazy also. We're all a little crazy. But, you know, he would look at the stars and see patterns. Well, I look at charts and I see patterns. And I can't remember who to take out the garbage, or I got to meet somebody 10 different times before I remember their first name. But I can remember levels and I can remember charts, and, you know, we all have some things that we would do well at. Did you see Chase hit the 2 shots to seal off the game? I posted that video. You know, he's got ice in his veins when it comes to that. So we all have different things, you know, that we work on. And the beauty of it is, if you have things that you're bad at, you have to work on them too. You build on what you're good at. You try and work on what you're bad at. You try and have a glass half full environment. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Get ready for this week. This week is going to be, you know, very active and could be awesome, you know, if you're prepared tactically. We don't have to break the lows this week, you know, but we also don't, you know, have to just rally off the gun. But what we can do is we can have levels to trade against, pivots to know, and thoughts in our head on how to navigate plan A, plan B, plan C. If this, then that. If that, then this. Don't be so widespread. Okay, narrow it down and only trade the leaders in times like this when things are so fast. Don't look at the second and third tier names. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Good luck today. I'm going to go mark up about 40 charts for my alpha team and for the Redler All Access. If you want to be part of the bigger community, you know, Scott at T3Live.com is my email if you want to email me, and I'll pass you on to a trade account. So if not, you just want to tune in, hang out with the dogs around the world in the dog pound, and every now and then, you know, I put you in the right frame of mind to make some money. That's cool too. I appreciate you for tuning in. Good luck today. Go get them, guys. Go make some money. And be prepared. And to my boys in the